He unfolded the napkin under the table, his coffee forgotten. His eyes scanned the note. Your partner sold you out. He's a traitor to the agency. This is an insane accusation. Who are you? You can't just slide this across my table and expect me to believe it. My partner, Ben Carter, has taken bullets for me. I need more than a cryptic message on a piece of cheap paper. I need something real, something tangible, or this conversation is over. He followed the waitress, Maya, toward the kitchen. She pointed through a grimy window. The men in the grey sedan across the street. They're not watching the diner, they're watching you. They arrived 3 minutes after you did. They're professionals, trying to look like amateurs. Ben, something feels off, Alex said, keeping his voice low. Feels like we've got eyes on us. You were the one who picked this place, insisted on meeting face to face instead of using the secure channel. Did you mention this location to anyone else? Anyone at all? Because my training is screaming at me that this is a tactical mistake, a breach in protocol. Ben Carter's fork paused over his steak. He placed it down deliberately. His smile never reached his cold eyes. You really need to take some leave, Alex. You're wound so tight you're about to snap. It's a public diner, not a war zone. Nobody knows we're here. You're seeing ghosts because you've spent too long hunting them. Relax and eat your food. His burner phone buzzed with a text. A photo from Maya. He zoomed in, stared. It's the car's tire, a specific brand, Cordian Radials. They're exclusively manufactured for Russian government vehicles. You can't buy them commercially. And there's a small pressure sensor on the valve stem, the kind used to detect tracking devices placed by rival agencies. These aren't just watchers, they're counter-surveillance experts. They expect to be watched back. He slipped into the men's room, dialed Maya's number from the prepaid phone. Maya, it's Alex. The tires on that sedan are Russian-made. This confirms foreign involvement. I need you to do something for me. Get me a plate number. I need to run it. He returned to the table, grabbed his laptop from his bag, typed in a command. I'm running a check on all recent agency vehicle authorizations. If Ben signed out a car for an unsanctioned meeting, it'll be logged here. He's meticulous, but even he can't erase every digital footprint. The system tracks all vehicle movements via GPS, even for senior field agents. He'd have to clone a transponder or disable the tracker, both of which leave their own trail. He hit enter, watched the database search, scrolled through the logs for the past 48 hours. There, car 7B, signed out by Ben 3 hours ago for routine administrative transport. But the GPS log shows it parked 2 blocks from here for the last hour. He's lying. That car you signed out, Ben, Alex said, turning the laptop screen toward him. The one for administrative transport. Its GPS shows it's been sitting 2 blocks away for the last hour. You told me you came straight from the facility. You're running a counter-op right under my nose, aren't you? Who are the Russians in the sedan? Are they our assets, or are you theirs? Ben's face went pale. A muscle in his jaw twitched. He wiped his mouth with a napkin. It's a sensitive operation, Alex. You weren't read in. Director Vance himself put me on it. We think there's a leak in the department, and we're using this meeting as bait to see who shows. You're just playing a part. I couldn't tell you. The laptop screen refreshed with a new file. Alex froze. He clicked open the PDF, stared. Director Vance is on medical leave. He has been for 3 weeks. I just got the department-wide email this morning. He couldn't have authorized a ham sandwich, let alone a counterintelligence operation involving foreign nationals on U.S. soil. Ben's story is a complete fabrication. He's using the director's name as cover, thinking I wouldn't check. He's cornered. He grabbed his burner phone, emailed a screenshot of the file to Maya, called her. Maya, Ben just lied to my face. He used Director Vance's authority as cover, but Vance is out on medical. This is a rogue operation. I'm sending you a file. It's Ben's official photo. He opened a secure messaging app, examined the photo Maya had sent of the driver. The driver of the Russian sedan. I've seen him before. The scar above his right eye. It was from a mission in Chechnya 5 years ago. He was a local contact, an informant for the FSB. His name was Dmitry Volkov. The official report said he was killed in a car bomb. Ben Carter wrote that report. He personally confirmed the kill. He cross-referenced the mission file, scrolled through the after-action reports, found Ben's signature. If Dmitry is alive, it means Ben lied in an official report. He faked a key informant's death. That's not just a breach, it's treason. He turned him into a deniable ghost asset. I just got a positive ID on the driver of that sedan, Ben, Alex stated, his voice flat and cold. Dmitry Volkov, an FSB informant you personally reported as killed in action 5 years ago in Chechnya. You falsified a mission report to turn a foreign agent into your own private asset. You've been running him on the side this entire time. Who are you working for? Ben shoved the table hard. It slammed into Alex's chest. Coffee sloshed everywhere. His chair screeched back. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're compromising a deep cover operation that has been active for years. Dmitry is a double agent working for us. Now you've blown his cover by running your mouth. You've just signed that man's death warrant. A new message from Maya appeared, a link to a public traffic camera feed. He clicked. Maya got me a live feed from the traffic camera down the street. I can see the sedan. And Dmitry isn't just sitting there. He's on a satellite phone, the encryption module attached to it. It's a X22 cipher link. Standard issue for SVR agents, the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. An FSB informant wouldn't have that. A double agent for us wouldn't be allowed it. He grabbed his tactical tablet, ran a signal analysis program, pinpointed the satellite uplink. The call is being routed through a Russian military satellite. He's not talking to Langley, he's talking to Moscow. Ben isn't running a double agent. He's handling a foreign spy. He sifted through old mission expense reports, cross-referenced dates with Ben's filed reimbursements, found a pattern. Every time Ben went on a solo reconnaissance mission in the last 5 years, there are cash withdrawals, always from a different city, always just under the $10,000 reporting limit. He claimed they were for local asset cultivation. But there are no corresponding informant files. Not one. It's a 5-year trail of ghost payments. He's been funding a shadow operation. He pulled up the banking data, traced the ATM locations, mapped them against mission timelines. He's laundered over $250,000. He's not just a traitor. He's been building an escape plan. This money is his parachute. Let's talk about your expense reports, Ben. Specifically, the untraceable cash withdrawals you've made for the last 5 years. Over $250,000 for local assets who don't exist in any agency database. It matches perfectly with the timeline since you faked Dmitry Volkov's death. You weren't paying informants. You were paying yourself, building a nest egg for your retirement in Moscow. Ben laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. He leaned forward, his voice a venomous whisper. His eyes darted to the exits. You think they care about some creative accounting? That money-funded operations you don't have the clearance to know about. You're a blunt instrument, Alex, a trigger puller. You have no idea how the real game is played. You bring this up, and they'll bury you in a mountain of paperwork for misusing agency resources. A new file loaded on his tablet, an encrypted file Maya had pulled from city records. She found it, a deed to a safe house. It was purchased 2 years ago by a shell corporation. The address is less than a mile from here. The shell corporation, Odessa Imports, was created with a single wire transfer. The originating bank is in Cyprus, a known hub for Russian money laundering. This has to be Ben's operational base. He grabbed his keys from the table, stood up abruptly, looked at Ben. I'm going to check out this address. If it's clean, I'll drop this. But if I find anything, Ben, I'm coming for you. Stay put. Don't even think about running. He combed through the Shell Corporation's registration documents, scanned the list of corporate officers. The names are all obvious fakes. John Smith, Peter Jones. But the registered agent who filed the paperwork is a real person, a lawyer based in D.C. Her name is Serafina Reed. According to her online profile, her specialty is international asset protection for high net worth individuals. She's a professional money launderer, a cleaner. Why would a simple import company need that kind of lawyer? He ran her name through an agency cross-reference database. Found a flagged file. Reed has been on an NSA watch list for 2 years, suspected ties to the SVR's financial operations wing. She's not just a lawyer, she's an agent of influence. That shell corporation you used to buy your little safe house, Ben? Odessa Imports? I looked up the lawyer who filed the paperwork. Serafina Reed. The NSA has had a file on her for 2 years. They suspect she's a financial asset for the SVR. You didn't just use a shell company. You used a known Russian intelligence facilitator to set up your entire shadow operation on US soil. Ben's face tightened. He stood up, knocking his chair over. His hand moved instinctively toward his back. You're chasing phantoms. I hired a lawyer, that's it. I don't vet their entire client list. This is a pathetic attempt to smear me because you can't handle being kept out of the loop. You're officially compromising national security with these accusations. Stand down, Alex. That's an order from a superior officer. A security alert pinged on his tablet. He opened the notification. His blood ran cold. It's a system alert from the agency's armory. Ben just remotely accessed the inventory logs. He's checking the status of the C4 explosives and remote detonators. Why would he need to do that right now? Unless the safe house. He's not just using it to hide. He's wired it. He's planning to destroy the evidence, and maybe me along with it. He sprinted out of the diner, jumped into his car, dialed Maya. Maya, he's going to blow the safe house. He just accessed the armory logs for explosives. He's trying to erase everything. I'm heading there now, but I might be walking into a trap. He searched the agency's internal server for all files Ben had accessed in the last week. He's been sloppy. He downloaded the architectural plans for the entire city block where the safe house is located. Gas lines, electrical grids, sewer systems. He wasn't just planning to blow the house, he was planning a catastrophic event to cover his tracks. A gas main explosion would destroy evidence for a quarter mile. It would be labeled a tragic accident. He forwarded the downloaded files to his secure cloud storage. Made a backup. This is premeditated. He's been planning this exit strategy for weeks, maybe months. He was just waiting for the right moment, or for someone like me to get too close. A gas main explosion, Ben? Is that your grand exit plan? Alex's voice was dangerously calm as he spoke into his comms, knowing Ben was listening. I found the city utility schematics you downloaded from the agency server last week. You weren't just going to blow a house. You were going to take out an entire city block to cover your escape. How many civilians were you willing to kill to protect your secret? The comms crackled. Ben's breathing was heavy. He was running. His composure was gone. Those were contingency plans for a terrorist threat in the area. You're twisting everything to fit your insane narrative. I was doing my job, protecting this city. You're the one who's gone rogue, Alex. You're the liability here, and you need to be neutralized." He saw it on the live traffic feed. The grey sedan peeled away from the curb. Dimitri is on the move. He's not heading for the highway. He's heading toward the safe house. He's not an extraction team. He's the cleanup crew. Ben is sending him to trigger the bomb and make sure I'm inside when it goes off. This was the plan all along. Lure me to the meeting, get me suspicious, and lead me into a kill box. He took a sharp right turn, floored the accelerator, spoke into his burner phone. "Maya, they're trying to kill me. Ben's Russian handler is en route to the safe house to detonate a bomb. I need you to do a public service broadcast. Call in a bomb threat for that address. Now." He clicked through the agency personnel files. He examined Ben Carter's psychological evaluations. It's all here. Every psych eval for the last 5 years has been flagged for narcissistic tendencies and a suppressed persecution complex. The department shrink recommended mandatory counseling and a temporary desk assignment. But every recommendation was overridden. The signature is the same every time. Deputy Director Croft. He personally kept Ben in the field. Croft protected him. He's involved. He downloaded the 5 override memos. Each one was a digital forgery. The signature is a copy-paste. Croft's real signature has a slight upward tilt on the T. This one is perfectly flat. Ben forged the overrides himself. "I pulled your psych evals, Ben," Alex said into the comms, weaving through traffic. 5 years of warnings from the shrinks, 5 years of recommendations for a desk job, and 5 years of forged overrides from Deputy Director Croft's office to keep you in the field. You didn't just fool the system, you corrupted it from the inside to protect your position while you sold us out. Ben's voice was a panicked hiss over the line. He sounded winded, desperate. He was losing control. "Croft is my mentor. He trusts me. He knows I'm a patriot. You're the one who's unstable, Alex. Can't you hear yourself? You're manufacturing evidence, forging documents to frame a decorated officer. They'll lock you up in a psychiatric ward for this." He saw the email on his tablet. An alert from Maya. A single attachment. A photo. It's a picture from the diner's security camera from last night. Ben wasn't alone before I arrived. He was sitting in a booth with someone. The angle is bad, but the man's tie clip. It's a custom design, a silver eagle on a globe. I've only ever seen one other person wear that. Deputy Director Croft. He wasn't just protecting Ben. He's his handler. He pulled up Croft's official agency photo, compared the tie clips. It was an exact match. This conspiracy goes to the top. It's not just my partner. It's the damn deputy director of the agency. He's running a traitor right under our noses. He sifted through Croft's travel logs, cross-referenced them with Ben's offshore financial transactions. Every time Ben's shell company received a wire transfer from the SVR, Croft was on an overseas trip, always to a non-extradition country. Geneva, Dubai, Singapore. He was meeting with their handlers, collecting the payment in person. He wasn't just protecting Ben, he was profiting from his treason. This is his operation. Ben is just the field mouse doing the dirty work. He found the wire transfer receipts. The amounts were staggering. Millions! They've funneled millions of dollars through this scheme. What kind of intelligence is worth that much? What did they sell? It had to be more than just informant networks. It was never just about you, was it, Ben? Alex's voice was a low growl over the comms. It was Croft. He's been your handler all along. I found the wire transfers. Millions of dollars moved by the SVR into your accounts, and every single transaction coincides with one of Croft's overseas trips. He wasn't just covering for you. He was your bagman. This entire betrayal leads straight to his office. The line went silent for a moment. Then a click. The sound of a gun's safety being disengaged. You should have stayed a good little soldier, Alex. You should have just done what you were told. You have no idea the forces you're messing with. Croft is untouchable. He'll burn you and your entire career to the ground, and I'll be the one holding the match. The building schematics file on his tablet blinked. A hidden sub-file. He clicked it. It's an access log. The schematics weren't downloaded from the agency server. They were uploaded to the server from an external IP address. An IP address based in Moscow. The SVR didn't just get intelligence from Ben, they were feeding him operational data. They gave him the plans to wire the safe house. This isn't just treason, it's an active enemy infiltration. He ran a trace on the IP address. It resolved to a known SVR technical operations building. They have a back door into our systems. They're not just pulling data out, they're pushing data in. They're manipulating our intelligence from the source. He searched for any other files uploaded from that IP. He found a personnel file update. They altered my file last week. They inserted a fabricated psych report, flagging me as unstable and prone to paranoia. They added a falsified disciplinary warning for insubordination. They were building a case against me before I even knew what was happening. They weren't just planning to kill me. They were planning to discredit me if I survived. This is Croft's handiwork. He forwarded the original file and the altered version to Maya. They were setting me up. They planted a fake psych report in my file, painting me as a paranoid wreck. They were going to use it to invalidate everything I found. You think a fake psych report is going to stop me, Croft? Alex shouted into his comms, knowing the director was now monitoring the channel. I found the Moscow IP address you used to plant it. You didn't just try to frame me. You let the SVR directly access and alter the personnel files of a senior agency operator. You handed our enemies the keys to the kingdom. You are a traitor of the highest order. A new voice came over the comms, smooth and cold. It was Deputy Director Croft. Commander Thorne, you are dangerously out of control. You are spouting baseless conspiracy theories and citing falsified evidence. Lieutenant Commander Carter has been acting under my direct orders to identify a security breach, and it appears we've found it. It's you. A new alert flashed on his tablet. A red banner across the top. He stared, disbelieving. It's a burn notice. They just issued a burn notice on me, to every field agent in the region. Commander Alex Thorne is to be considered armed, dangerous, and a defector working for a foreign power. Engage with extreme prejudice. Croft isn't just denying it. He's using the full weight of the agency to have me killed before I can expose him. He slammed on the brakes, skidded to a halt. His face was grim. They're not just trying to kill me. They're trying to erase me. Ben, Croft. They've turned the entire agency against me. I'm on my own. He examined the metadata on the burn notice. He checked the authorization protocols. The notice was issued using Croft's credentials, but it bypassed the mandatory two-person authorization protocol. It requires a director and a deputy to issue a burn notice on a senior agent. He used a command-level override code, an emergency code that's only supposed to be used in the event of a catastrophic national security failure. He's burning the system to cover his tracks. He ran a search for the last time that code was used. It's never been used, not once in the agency's history. He just broke the ultimate protocol. He's betting everything on me, dying in the next hour. You just issued a burn notice on me. Croft, Alex yelled into the comms, his voice raw with fury. You used an emergency override code that's never been touched, bypassing every safeguard in the system. You are so desperate to silence me that you are willing to shatter the agency's most sacred protocols. You've declared war on your own man because you got caught with your hand in Moscow's wallet. It ends now." Croft's voice was icy calm, devoid of any emotion. He was a man holding all the cards. "Your outrage is noted, Commander. For the record, you are a rogue agent who has been compromised. The evidence against you is overwhelming. The burn notice is valid. Stand down and surrender, or you will be neutralized. You have 10 seconds to comply." A text from Maya lit up his phone. A video file. He opened it. It's from the diner's exterior camera, from an hour before our meeting. Croft's car is parked in the alley. He gets out. He's not alone. He's with Dmitry Volkov, the Russian agent. He hands him a briefcase. They shake hands. Croft was meeting with the SVR handler in person, right before sending me into the trap. He delivered the final payment or the final orders himself. He saved the video file, sent a copy to his encrypted cloud drive. "This is it. This is the smoking gun. The deputy director of the agency meeting with a known Russian spy. This is undeniable. This is the proof that will burn him to the ground." The agency commendation ceremony was in full swing. Deputy Director Croft stood at the podium, a self-satisfied smile on his face as he spoke of integrity and sacrifice. Alex Thorne walked down the center aisle, his steps deliberate, echoing in the suddenly quiet auditorium. He mounted the stage, taking the spare microphone. "Lieutenant Commander Ben Carter is a traitor. He attempted to have me assassinated yesterday, luring me to a meeting where a Russian kill team was waiting. He lied about his location, his mission, and his allegiance. He did this on the orders of people in this room, betraying every oath he ever took. This wasn't a sensitive operation. It was a setup, sanctioned from the very top of this agency." The crowd gasped, a wave of murmurs spreading through the hall as phones emerged. "This is an outrageous disruption," Croft boomed, his face turning crimson. "Commander Thorne is suffering a psychotic break. Security, remove this man from the stage immediately. He is a danger to this agency." Alex held up his tablet, projecting an image onto the large screen behind Croft. "This is the GPS log from Ben Carter's assigned agency vehicle. He claimed he came straight from the facility, but this proves his car was parked 2 blocks from the diner for over an hour before our meeting, coordinating with the foreign surveillance team he lied about. He was setting the trap." Ben Carter's face drained of color. His hands trembled as he gripped the armrests of his chair. "It was a counter-surveillance measure. I was establishing a perimeter for a sensitive meet. Alex wasn't read in. He's misinterpreting standard field protocol." A woman in a simple waitress uniform stood up from the back of the auditorium. "My name is Maya. I was his waitress. I saw the men in the sedan. I saw Ben Carter watching them, coordinating with them through subtle gestures. He was lying to Commander Thorne's face the entire time. I'm former Army intelligence. I know a hostile setup when I see one. He was selling him out." "A waitress?" Ben sneered, trying to regain his composure. "This is his proof? A civilian with an overactive imagination. She's also the one who identified the Watchers as professionals before you did," Alex stated calmly. "Her observations are the reason I'm still alive." Ben Carter wasn't just lying. He was actively collaborating with Russian intelligence. His handler, Dmitry Volkov, is an SVR agent, not an FSB informant, as Ben claimed in his falsified mission reports from Chechnya 5 years ago. He faked an enemy agent's death to turn him into a private asset, a ghost he could run on the side for his real masters in Moscow. He has been a Russian spy for half a decade. Phones flashed as the audience recorded, the murmurs growing into an angry buzz. "This is classified information," Ben shouted, rising from his seat. "You are compromising years of deep cover work. Dmitry was our double agent. You've just signed his death warrant with your paranoid fantasies." Alex displayed 2 new photos on the screen, side by side. On the left are Cordian radials, tires manufactured exclusively for Russian government vehicles. On the right is an X-22 Cypherlink, a satellite phone encryption module standard issue for the SVR. Dmitry Volkov's car had those tires, and he was using that phone to talk not to Langley, but directly to Moscow. Ben stumbled backward, his face ashen, his composure finally broken. It's planted evidence. This is a deep fake. Thorne is fabricating this to cover for his own incompetence and jealousy. He was always jealous of my assignments. A man in a technician's uniform rose from the 3rd row, his voice clear. I'm Senior Analyst Peters, from SIGINT. Sir, I was on duty last night. We intercepted that satellite uplink from the diner's location. The call was routed through a Russian military satellite, Cosmos 22542. It was a direct, encrypted channel to SVR headquarters. There was no communication with any friendly agency. He was talking to the enemy. He's a junior analyst, Ben screamed. He doesn't have the clearance to understand the context of high-level counterintelligence signals. This is a gross misinterpretation. He's the expert who tracks those signals every day, Alex countered. And he has the raw data logs to prove exactly who your partner was talking to. This treason was funded by the agency itself. For 5 years, Ben Carter has been submitting falsified expense reports, claiming cash withdrawals for local asset cultivation. Over $250,000 for informants who don't exist in any database. It was a slush fund, a nest egg for his retirement in Russia, paid for by the American taxpayer. He was stealing from us to pay for his betrayal. The auditorium stared, shocked into silence by the accusation of systemic fraud. It was creative accounting for black ops. Ben yelled, his voice cracking. Operations you don't have the clearance for. You're a blunt instrument, Alex. You bring this up and they'll bury you for misusing agency resources, not me. Alex swiped the tablet, showing a map of the United States, dotted with red pins. Here are Ben's expense reports, showing cash withdrawals always just under the $10,000 reporting limit. And here is a map of those ATM locations. They match perfectly with the timeline of his solo missions since he faked Dmitry Volkov's death. It's a 5-year trail of ghost payments and lies. Ben's knees buckled. He collapsed back into his chair, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Those were funds for deniable operations, authorized by Deputy Director Croft himself. He'll confirm it. It was all sanctioned. It was for the mission. An older man in a sharp suit stood up near the side entrance. I'm Agent Coulson, from the Inspector General's office. 3 years ago, I opened an inquiry into Lieutenant Commander Carter's anomalous expense reports. I was personally ordered by Deputy Director Croft to stand down and erase the file. He cited an ongoing operation of the highest national security importance. He used his authority to bury the investigation. He's a disgruntled paper pusher, Croft interjected smoothly from the podium. He has a grudge because I passed him over for promotion. He's a 20-year veteran of the IG's office with a perfect record, Alex said, his voice cold as ice. And he kept a personal copy of the file you ordered him to destroy. Their plan was to silence me permanently. Ben and Croft established a safe house, purchased through a shell corporation, run by a known SVR facilitator. When I got too close, they armed it with C4 explosives. Ben downloaded the city's gas main schematics. They weren't just going to kill me. They were going to blow an entire city block to cover their tracks, murdering hundreds of civilians in a staged accident. A wave of shock and horror rolled through the theater. Cameras flashed directly in Croft's face. "Contingency plans!" Croft roared, his composure finally cracking. "For a terrorist threat in that area. Commander Thorne is twisting a heroic act of civic defense into a monstrous accusation. I was protecting the city." Alex projected 2 documents onto the screen, the Armory access log and a city utility map. This is the agency Armory log, time-stamped, showing Ben Carter remotely accessing the inventory for C4 and remote detonators. And this is the gas main schematic for that city block, which he downloaded from our server last week. He wasn't defending the city. He was preparing to use its own infrastructure as a weapon against it. Croft's confident demeanor completely shattered. His hands began to shake violently. The files are taken out of context. It was a simulation, a stress test of our emergency response protocols. It wasn't real. It was just a drill. A woman in a fire department dress uniform stood up, her face grim. "I'm Captain Ava Rostova, head of the city's bomb squad. A gas main explosion combined with C4 is not a contingency plan. It's a weapon of mass destruction. It's designed for one purpose: catastrophic destruction and the complete obliteration of all forensic evidence. No agency would ever authorize such a protocol. It's the signature of a terrorist." "She's a local civil servant," Croft spat. "She doesn't understand the complexities of national security operations. She's out of her depth." "She's the foremost explosives expert in this state," Alex countered. "She knows exactly what a bomb maker's blueprint looks like, and this is one of them. This entire conspiracy leads to one man. Ben Carter was just the soldier. The general is Deputy Director Croft. He wasn't just protecting a rogue agent, he was running him. He is the true mole inside this agency. For years he has been a paid asset of the Russian SVR, selling our secrets, our operations, and our agents for profit. He is the head of the snake." The audience was on its feet, shouting, pointing. The order of the ceremony was completely gone. "These are the ravings of a madman," Croft screamed, his voice hoarse with panic. "A burn notice was issued for Thorne because he was compromised. He is a defector, and this is his final, desperate act of sabotage." Alex changed the image on the screen. It was a grainy security video. "This is from the diner's exterior camera, an hour before my meeting with Ben. It shows Deputy Director Croft in the alley, meeting with the SVR agent Dmitry Volkov. It shows him handing Volkov a briefcase. He was meeting with the enemy handler in person, delivering final orders or final payment, just before sending one of his own men into a death trap." Croft stared at the video, his face a mask of pure horror. He looked trapped. "It's a doctored video, a deepfake. He's a traitor working with foreign intelligence to frame me. I am a patriot. I have served this country for 30 years. A young man in a dark suit rose from the front row, his face pale. "Sir, I'm Agent Davis. I'm on your security detail. I drove you to that alley last night. You told me it was an unscheduled, off-the-books meet. You ordered me to scrub the vehicle's GPS log and security recorder for that hour. I was following your direct order, sir. I didn't know." "He's lying to save his own skin," Croft shrieked, pointing a trembling finger. "He's part of Thorne's conspiracy. He's been bought." "He's a junior agent who has served on your detail for 2 years, Alex said, his voice ringing with authority. "And he kept the original data logs before he erased them, just in case." Croft didn't just cover his tracks in the field. He corrupted the very systems of this agency to protect his asset. For 5 years, every psychological evaluation flagged Ben Carter for narcissistic and paranoid behavior. Every report recommended a desk assignment. And every single time, that recommendation was overridden with a forged signature from Director Vance's office, keeping a compromised agent in the field where he could continue to feed secrets to Moscow. Gasps of outrage erupted from the senior agents in the audience. The betrayal was absolute. "Director Vance is my mentor," Croft stammered. "He trusts my judgment. I made command decisions to keep a valuable, if difficult, officer in the field. The signatures are legitimate." Alex displayed 5 documents on the giant screen, signatures highlighted in red. These are the 5 override memos. As you can see, Director Vance's real signature has a slight upward tilt on the final letter. The signatures on these forgeries are perfectly flat. They are clumsy, copy-paste jobs. Digital forgeries used to keep a traitor operational. Croft abused the director's authority and his trust to protect his spy. Croft's legs gave out. He collapsed against the podium, his breath coming in ragged sobs. It was a judgment call. I believed he was a patriot. I was handling a difficult but essential asset. The paperwork was unorthodox, but my intentions were pure. A woman in a severe business suit stood up. "I'm Maria Flores from Internal Affairs. My department flagged Carter's file 2 years ago because of these exact overrides. Deputy Director Croft personally came to my office and ordered me to close the investigation. He said it would interfere with a deep cover operation targeting Russian intelligence. He lied to me. He used a fake operation as cover for a real one." "She's a bureaucratic pencil pusher," Croft gasped. "She can't see the big picture. She would have compromised the entire mission with her meddling." "She's the chief investigator of this agency," Alex countered, "and she has your signed order to terminate her investigation, an order which now constitutes obstruction of justice." Croft's betrayal goes deeper. He didn't just protect his spy. He gave our enemies the keys to the kingdom. He provided the SVR with a back door into our servers. They used that access to plant a fabricated psychological report in my personnel file, flagging me as unstable and paranoid. They were building a case to discredit me before I even knew what was happening. They were preparing to make my evidence, my very sanity, inadmissible. The silence in the room was absolute, chilling. The idea of the SVR inside their servers was unthinkable. "A monstrous lie!" Croft shrieked, clawing at the podium. "He's inventing a cyber attack to cover his own treason. Our servers are secure. He's trying to undermine the faith in this agency." Alex projected a string of code and an IP address onto the screen. "This is the access log. The fake report was uploaded to my file last week from this IP address. A trace confirms it originates from a known SVR technical operations building in Moscow. The intrusion was masked by a command-level override code, an emergency key that only one person in this room possesses, Deputy Director Croft." Croft let out a final, guttural scream of denial as he tried to flee the stage. "The logs were hacked. The IP address was spoofed. It's all a fabrication. He's the traitor. He planted it all to frame me. I am the victim here." The agency's head of cybersecurity, a grim-faced man named Kenji, stood slowly. "I am the chief of Cyber Command. That override code cannot be spoofed. It is hardwired into the server architecture. The logs are immutable. The intrusion came from that Moscow IP, and it was authorized from inside this agency, using Deputy Director Croft's personal credentials. The data does not lie. He opened the door for them." "He's an alarmist," Croft sobbed. "He's always crying wolf about cyber attacks. He doesn't know what he's talking about." "He designed the entire system," Alex said. "He knows its every strength and every weakness, and he knows who holds the only key that could unlock it." This was never about ideology. It was about greed. Croft and Carter sold out their country for money. Millions of dollars, funneled from the SVR through the Shell Corporation, Odessa Imports, and into offshore accounts. Every time Ben received a payment, Croft was on an overseas trip to a non-extradition country, meeting with Russian handlers and collecting his share. This was treason for profit. The sordid conspiracy, laid bare for all to see, left the crowd speechless. "My finances are private," Croft yelled desperately. This is an illegal search. My family is wealthy. It's an inheritance. It has nothing to do with any of this. It's my money." Alex displayed a series of bank statements on the screen, showing wire transfers. Here are the bank records. Millions of dollars transferred from the SVR's shell company in Cyprus directly into accounts owned by Deputy Director Croft. The dates of these transfers match perfectly with his trips to Geneva and Dubai. This wasn't inheritance, Director. It was blood money. Your price for selling out your own men. Croft fainted, collapsing to the floor in a heap behind the podium. "It's circumstantial," Ben Carter screamed, finding his voice again. "Financial records can be faked. This is digital forgery, a desperate attempt to smear a decorated public servant." The main doors of the auditorium opened. 2 men in dark suits walked in, flanked by armed federal agents. "I'm Special Agent Harris with the FBI's Counterintelligence Division. We've been running a parallel investigation into a high-level mole for the last 18 months. We independently traced these same wire transfers. They are not inheritance, Commander Carter. They are direct payments from a known SVR financial network. We have the full, unassailable transaction history from the international banks." "He's FBI," Ben stammered. "He has no jurisdiction. This is an internal agency matter. You have no authority here." "He has every authority when a senior intelligence officer is acting as an agent of a foreign power," Alex stated. "The game is over.